Pakistan cricket at its best. 1 minute down, next minute up.
Hi guys, thanks very much for joining me once again. Saj Sadiq here from Pak Passion. Well, on the field, it's the Pakistan Super League in full swing at the moment, isn't it? Islamabad United dominating, as expected, really. I mean, they've got a very well-rounded, well-balanced squad. Fantastic coach in Mike Hesson. 4 wins out of 4 as I speak. And they look the standout team compared to some of the other outfits that we're seeing at the Pakistan Super League. But it's early days. I think a lot can change. We've seen in previous editions of the Pakistan Super League where the likes of Multan Sultans looked the standout team and they still didn't win the tournament. So been a lot of one-sided matches so far. Hopefully that will change and we'll see some close-fought matches and some challenges for Islamabad United as well, because it'd be a real shame if the tournament became just a one-horse race with lots of one-sided matches. But off the field, as usual in Pakistan cricket, it's never a dull moment, is it? We've seen the effects of the Jason Gillespie interview that I did a few days ago. Now, Jason, I feel, is somebody who's a very honest, forthright, well-spoken, articulate guy. And we spoke on a number of topics. We spoke about the Pakistan Super League. We spoke about Pakistan cricket, the tour of New Zealand, young players being prepared for international cricket and when the right time is to throw them in. We spoke about Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan, whether they're still suited to white ball cricket for Pakistan. And, we spoke about selection issues and, being a coach in Pakistan cricket as well. So a wide array of topics, really. And Jason, as usual, was very honest and, as I say, very articulate and spoke well about all those topics. But the topic that's really gone viral and interested the world's media and fans around the world is his comments about remuneration still being owed to him from the Pakistan Cricket Board. Now, if we turn the clock back to when Jason was appointed, of course, it was fantastic news for Pakistan cricket, really. I think fans were very excited at the thought of having Jason Gillespie as the red ball head coach and Gary Kirsten as the white ball coach for Pakistan. But sadly, that didn't last long, did it? It all ended in tears with Jason and Gary, unfortunately. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it just went downhill, didn't it? The relationship and how things worked out. First of all, Gary Kirsten left as the white ball head coach. A short and not so sweet stint for Gary. Of course, he wasn't happy over a number of things, and the PCB decided to accept his resignation. And when Gary left, Jason Gillespie was offered the role of head coach in all 3 formats. Of course, Jason had signed up just to be the head coach in the red ball format, which he felt was his strength and the area that he wanted to serve Pakistan cricket in. But basically to help the Pakistan Cricket Board out before they found a permanent appointment in the white ball format, Jason stepped in at short notice and, as I say, took over as the white ball head coach, as well as the test head coach. As I say, Jason, his views are always forthright. He spoke well in my interview. He spoke with honesty, with sincerity, and he's not somebody to beat around the bush. And I think he was well within his rights to ask for money that he's owed. He didn't criticise the Pakistan Cricket Board per se. He didn't criticise any individuals. He didn't name anybody as the stumbling blocks for why he hasn't been paid. But he made it clear that he is owed money and he'd like that money to be paid to him, which I think is fair enough, isn't it? All of us who are working at the moment, we don't work for free, do we? If we sign a contract and our employer doesn't pay us for that work, then we're not going to be very happy. And I think Jason has every right to be disappointed with the Pakistan Cricket Board. I think he's kept his cool, he's kept his calm. I could think of a few others who would have been ranting and out there in the public eye, criticising the Pakistan Cricket Board. criticising individuals at the Pakistan Cricket Board and turning the heat up on them. And it's been over 4 months now, and Jason is still waiting for dues that he says he is owed. And I think when we look at it, when we look at what he is owed, I think he's well within his rights to be asking for that money. And his interview was basically a simple request. Just pay me the money that what I'm owed. I don't want anything extra. I'm not asking for any additional payments that I'm not owed. I'm not asking for freebies. This is work that he's done and money that he is owed. And as I say, he wasn't working for free. It wasn't a voluntary role. And I'm sure those at the Pakistan Cricket Board as well, who have contracts, who have jobs at the Pakistan Cricket Board, they will expect to get paid for work they've done as well. Now, my understanding is that Jason Gillespie is owed money for the England Test Series win. So basically what happens is that coaches have basic salary and then they have additional bonuses for series wins. And obviously Pakistan won that series against England, the Test Series 2-1 after losing the first Test match. So again, my understanding is that Jason Gillespie is owed money for that Test Series win. So where Pakistan won 2-1, Pakistan Cricket Board has not paid him. Again, that's my understanding. He also hasn't been paid for the Australia tour salary. So he's had nothing for that white ball series in Australia where he was the head coach, where he stepped in to help the Pakistan Cricket Board for that white ball series in Australia. Of course, Pakistan won the one-day series. They lost the T20I series. Jason Gillespie, as I say, was the head coach for that white ball series, all the matches in Australia. And again, my understanding is that he's not being paid for that tour of Australia, which I find is absolutely astounding, really. It's work that he's done. He's gone out there to Australia and he's worked for the Pakistan Cricket Board. He's coached the Pakistan team in Australia for all of those matches, and he has not been paid, which is just not acceptable, really. He worked, he gave up his time, and he's basically just asking for what he's owed. I repeat, he's not asking for any additional money. He's not asking for any favours. He's not asking for any money that the PCB probably think he isn't owed. This is salary and bonuses, really. Bonuses for the Test series against England, which Pakistan won, and basic salary for the Australia tour. In fact, I don't even think he asked for a bonus win because in Australia, because obviously Pakistan won that ODI series. I repeat, at the Pakistan Cricket Board, nobody is working in a voluntary role. People are being paid for their time, for their efforts. So why shouldn't Jason Gillespie have been paid? PCB response, and I'm going to read it out word for word, was pretty short, abrupt, and quick, which is unusual for the Pakistan Cricket Board because they're not always the quickest to react. So here we are, 20th of April, which is yesterday. The Pakistan Cricket Board refutes claims made by a former head coach. They don't name Jason Gillespie, by the way. They just call him a former head coach, which I think is a little bit disrespectful and rude. On the non-payment of his dues, the PCB spokesman, whoever that is, which is unnamed, it doesn't come from the chairman, it doesn't come from any individual, it just says the PCB spokesman, whoever that is, states that the former head coach abruptly left his position without giving a 4-month notice period, which was a clear breach of the contractual terms. And it ends with the coaching contract explicitly mentioned a notice period applicable to both parties, and the coach was fully aware of it. So there we are, short, to the point, abrupt, doesn't name Gillespie, and it's from a PCB spokesman, whoever that is, an unnamed spokesman. So what they're saying is that Jason Gillespie should have given 4 months' notice. That's the breach that they're saying. Now, okay, if the 4-month breach is there, then they are saying that he's breached his contract, but surely he's still owed money for the work that he's done. Now, the 4-month breach of his contract, he's not asking for additional money. He's not asking for money after he left, what he's asking for is money for the work that he's done. What I also find interesting is that, and we've seen some of this mentioned in the media over the past few months since Jason has left working for the Pakistan Cricket Board, is the what you could call breaches from the Pakistan Cricket Board. And Jason has mentioned some of these. I mean, he mentioned about the upset that PCB sacking Tim Nielsen. So his assistant and Jason Gillespie didn't even know. Obviously, I interviewed Tim Nielsen and he said that he just came out of the blue. He had a bad vibe. He had bad feelings about what was happening. But the decision to get rid of him just came out of the blue. They got rid of Tim Nielsen, didn't tell Jason Gillespie. Jason actually found out from Tim Nielsen that he had been sacked and not from the Pakistan Cricket Board, which I think for a cricket board to do that to any coach really, never mind an experienced former legend of the game, a former great of the game, and a very experienced and well-known coach. I just think it stinks of disrespect, really. Really poor from the Pakistan Cricket Board. Again, things that were going on behind the scenes with Aqib Javed and him pulling strings behind the scenes and manoeuvring things, and the allegations of Aqib Javed being in the chairman's ear about him wanting to take over as head coach in the red ball and white ball formats, which, of course, ended in, well, Jason called Aqib Javed a clown, which I think if you look at some of the reactions around the world, many people echo Jason's sentiments there. So you've got Tim Nielsen behind the scenes being sacked, Gillespie not being told about that. You've got Aqib Javed behind the scenes pulling strings, manoeuvring things. And then in addition, you've got teams being selected and Jason Gillespie not having any say in those teams, not being part of the selection panel. Some would say those were breaches of contract as well. Of course, Pakistan Cricket Board hasn't mentioned any of those from their side, just the allegation that Jason Gillespie breached his contract. In my opinion, this episode gives the Pakistan Cricket Board a bad look around the world. And the Pakistan Cricket Board isn't a poor cricket board. It's a fairly rich cricket board. They've made a lot of money recently from the Champions Trophy held in Pakistan and the UAE. They're not short of a rupee or two. And it just puts people off applying for jobs at the Pakistan Cricket Board in future. I mean, I've spoken to some former Pakistan Cricket Board coaches, head coaches, assistant coaches, and they're basically saying, well, they won't go anywhere near the Pakistan Cricket Board. And part of this, these events with Jason Gillespie and his treatment, and Gary Kirsten as well, and Tim Nielsen, the way they were treated, it's putting a lot of people off, a lot of good coaches from wanting to work with the Pakistan Cricket Board, which is sad, which is unfortunate. And, it doesn't give good vibes for Pakistan cricket. It doesn't give good vibes for the Pakistan Cricket Board as well. And, the Pakistan Cricket Board, do the right thing. Pay Jason Gillespie for his work, for his time, for his effort. He's not asking for anything extra. He's not asking for money that isn't owed to him. I'm not a spokesman for Jason Gillespie. I'm not a spokesperson for him. I'm neutral in this regard. I want the best for Pakistan cricket. I want the best for the Pakistan Cricket Board, and I want the best for Jason Gillespie. But this whole episode, this bizarre episode, could have been avoided, and it doesn't give off good signals for Pakistan cricket and its future. And I think the Pakistan Cricket Board, as I say, they should do the right thing. They should do the honourable thing. They should pay Jason Gillespie what he's due and move on. And they've advertised for another head coach and a director of cricket. And, hopefully good applicants will apply for those jobs. But as I said, I think a lot of people will be put off with the due to the events of what's happened with Jason Gillespie, Gary Kirsten and Tim Nielsen and their treatment. So I think it's not too late to, claw back some of that lost merit and, those bad vibes that the PCB are getting at the moment. It's not too late to claw some of that back by paying Jason Gillespie what he's due. Thanks very, very much for watching.